What's up, guys? Welcome back. So we're going to be continuing here with the upgrading, and we have all these components here, and some of them are not really components, they're pages. So now we're going to work on those. And how I think I'm going to do it is I'm just going to like copy. I don't know how I actually copy all of them. I don't know if there's an easy way to do it. I don't know the hotkey. I actually want to copy all of these components into routes here. And then just go one by one through them and check if they're a component or if they're basically a route, and then fix that. So I'm just going to start moving them over. This might be super inefficient. I bet there's a faster way, but I don't know it. So I'm just going to do it real quick. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. So how it was kind of working before is this main thing was wrapping every single page. And every single page basically would be put here in this main, would have this there, and then would have this clone would basically get all the children and put it here, and we would pass down all the props which are we are getting from app here. That's what this app does. App gets the stuff from Redux and adds it, what's it called? Gets it from Redux and adds it to the props. But notice how every page basically has the same props that way, at least from Redux. And that's not a great way to do it because each page could possibly need different props, and then some props that page is not using, so why are you asking for them? So what we're going to do is a different kind of setup now with this page. So every time we have a page that we need, I think we're going to start with we start with the login page. Notice how, like, for example, it needs this prop right here. What we'll do is we will create a folder for it. So we're going to create a folder called login page. We put login page inside of it. We call this view because this is what the actual code looks like. And then we create a new file called index.js. So we import login page. And what this index is going to do is basically the same thing as this app does. So we can copy that, paste it into index. And what this app is doing is it's grabbing all the states and all the actions that we need. So we can actually just open this up. And again, I don't know why I need to change my default, I think. I think my default is 4 spaces. I need to look into that. I should be 2. Okay, but here you can add all the things that you need from Redux for your view. And it's different for each page. So like for the login page, just like a quick scan, looks like the only thing it really needs is login. So I don't really need to have anything else. And then also, we're now passing stuff in like this, like an object. So the login, this should be email, because username is not how you log in Feathers. Password, and then next. There we go. And let's see, just space at the end. Yep. What's going on here? Missing prop validation. Okay. We'll worry about prop validation at a later time. So if it really only needs login, we don't have to map all of these things. All we really need is one action. We don't need these action creators. And now we're going to import view, which is that local view right there. And we can grab it. And then we map that. And then we're going to export default. Export default. And we don't need to name it. Okay. And don't need that. So that's the plan. So now import login from go up to module user actions. So now we're going to call that login action that we created, and we'll add it to the props right here. So now the login that we use here is given to the props here. So now we're just going to do this actually for every single page. So for example, single recipe. I believe that was a page, right? Looks like it was a page. Yeah. So new folder, single recipe, move single recipe inside, rename to view, and then copy. So now this view, what does it need? It needs, looks like it needs the fetch recipe. And it looks like it's it. So we can just come over here. We can just do fetch recipe, and we can grab that from fetch recipe. Let's close this. Let's make sure there was an action. There's actually not a fetch recipe here. I'm assuming it was like request my recipe. Okay, I'm just trying to think of which action we should call that it's expecting. So it's expecting this cur recipe. Oh, so we should grab that. So state cur recipe from state.curRecipe. So we're grabbing that. And then we need the one that I think it was called, the action that we'll use is here to that. I think it would be request recipe, I'm thinking. And we'll have to play with this. So now my view here, I should be calling request recipe. Request recipe. This.props params recipe ID. I'm assuming that's coming from React Router. We don't have prop validation, that's okay for now. And everything else looks good. Okay. So we're good with that page. I guess let's do sign up page next. New folder, sign up page. Rename to view. Copy, paste. Close all those. So now, starting with the view, looks like we need sign up. And I call it username in the application, but it really should have been email. So we'll use email here. No extra space. And so it looks like the only thing that we get from Redux is sign up. So I'll then add sign up there. And recipe list is a component I remember. Recipe card is 2. Nav bar, this should be a component as well. My recipe is not though. My recipe is a route. My recipes. Change you to view. And copy you. Okay. So here we need to fetch my recipes. And let's see. Request my recipe is what we called it. So request my recipe. And request my recipe. So now that's the prop we're calling. And then once we call that, we get my recipes here. So that's coming from the state. Oops. So we can grab that from the Redux state. And this.props. And notice how we're passing in the data ID. So remember how with this one we said we would pass in like a query? We're going to come in and actually do that later. I just want to break these out into pages right now. So we're now getting my recipes and request my recipes both from this index that we're connecting. So my recipes and request my recipe. Okay, this page looks good. Recipe card is missing. We'll come back and fix those. Okay, so we have 4 pages right now. The video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to break it here, and the next one will continue converting these into views like this, or into routes. So I'll see you guys then.